Want to get ahead in digital-first content? The Drop is the go-to newsletter for industry professionals, delivering insider news, trends, and insights straight to your inbox. Navigate the fast-changing landscape of digital-first production, distribution, and monetization. Sign up now for free at dropmedia.co.uk and stay informed with The Drop. Hi, I'm Justin Crosby and welcome to a special end-of-the-year episode of TellyCast. Today, we're looking back at 2025, a year that didn't just push the content industry forward a little, it fundamentally changed the centre of gravity across platforms, producers, creators, brands, studios and distributors. Everything quietly realigned, not in one dramatic headline, but in hundreds of small shifts that all pointed the same way. So today we're pulling those threads together. This is the state of the digital-first industry in 6 main trends, told through the stories and reporting of our news website and magazine, The Drop, the conversations we've had on this show, and our events throughout the year. We're then going to look forward to 2026 and summarise a list of predictions collated over the past couple of weeks from articles from the digital-first industry leaders on what next year in digital-first might look like. So, let's get into it. Our first trend this year was creator collectives as studio systems. Let's start with the clearest shifts this year, the rise of creator collectives, not as loose networks, but as fully fledged studio systems. We've seen this with Sidemen, of course, Beta Squad, The Fellas, and countless others, building out on YouTube. But in 2025, it became clear that these groups are no longer just producing content. They're running studio organisations, writers' rooms, data analysts, production teams, thumbnail experts, publishing workflows. Creators have industrialised. They've created a new production landscape while many traditional TV production companies have watched on from the sidelines. The Sidemen model is no longer an outlier. It's the blueprint for creative studios. Collectives now behave like digital-first broadcasters. Multiple shows and formats, recurring slots, brand deals, spin-offs, live events, merch, and diversified revenue. They control the IP, they control the platform relationship, and crucially, they control the audience. This creator-led studio infrastructure is now one of the most powerful parts of the production economy, and it's only getting more sophisticated as more and more investors are flocking to the sector, valuing businesses by the depth of engagement with their community audiences as one of the key factors. I think we'll see more and more creator collectives and digital studios scale, attract investment and sell to legacy media in 2026 as they seek a shortcut into the new production economy. Trend number 2 from 2025 is microdrama, pointing the way for vertical video. So the next big shift we've seen in 2025 is, of course, microdrama and indeed overall vertical video. Vertical microdrama solidified into a real format category. Scripted series with character arcs, season structures and bingeable narratives. Gamma Time launched in the US with over $14 million in funding. Fox Entertainment bought into Holy Water. The Soul Publishing launched Short. And Drama Box, Drama Wave, Short Max, Real Short and Good Short, amongst many others, continue to grow. Omdia forecasted that revenue from this format is forecast to be nearly twice that of fast channels globally, generating around $11 billion in revenue in 2025. Traditional producers are now studying this format closely. Creator studios are building writers' rooms and specialist directors are in high demand. It's cheap, it travels globally, it builds enormous loyalty, and it fits the consumption patterns of Gen Z like nothing else. And the biggest series are generating huge revenues. Microdrama and vertical storytelling isn't fringe anymore. It's now a pillar of the new content economy and looks set to explode in 2026 with higher quality productions, A-list talent and unscripted formats coming to the fore, with potentially huge opportunities for producers and distributors and especially brands. After all, the soap opera genre was created by brands in the 50s. We're starting to see a full circle movement involve in vertical video, with beauty brand Maybelline, Procter & Gamble's P&G Studios already launching microsoaps. Trend number 3 in 2025 is vodcasting. 2025 was the year that Digital First Studios perfected the visualized podcast, and it became established as a powerful business model. Diary of a CEO creator Stephen Bartlett's firm raised $425 million in funding. They're getting 50 million YouTube views a month. 30% of those views are happening on a TV set. They now see themselves as a media company, not a podcaster like other players in this space. They build mission-based content ecosystems on a global scale. Goalhanger struck deals with the international football bodies for rights for their podcasts. Mark Goldbridge, an independent creator, did that too. The Drop covered multiple creator-led podcasting launches across the year, and this pattern is unmistakable. Video podcasts are now an attention format. Not a passive background medium or just a companion show for broadcast TV. For production companies, the opportunity is enormous to apply the skills from TV, format thinking, segment structuring, casting, talent, partnerships, pacing. They all map perfectly into the new wave of vodcasts. In fact, you could say vodcasting is now the new TV, just built from the bottom up rather than the top down. In traditional TV, producers, of course, deliver a programme, wait for the TX, and then wait for the ratings to be given to them by the broadcaster to work out if a success or not. In the digital-first world, you drop the content, review the data, change the thumbnails, maybe recut it, and continue to optimise as you go forward, responding to the audience in real time. These new digital teams are thinking like YouTubers, content creators, editors, packaging specialists. The opportunity is there for indies to create and own IP and exploit it in multiple ways, including licensing to TV and monetizing through FAST and other platforms. This has got to be the most logical transition step for traditional TV producers looking to make the move into digital. And my prediction is we're going to see much more of it in 2026. Number 4, YouTube dominated AVOD and streaming platforms turned to creators. Now, let's talk platforms because 2025 was the year the market finally understood YouTube's real position. The Drop covered this again and again throughout the year. YouTube is no longer seen as a social platform. It's the biggest AVOD platform in the world. Ofcom data says UK audiences watch 4.5 hours of TV and video a day, and YouTube alone counts for 39 minutes of that. That puts it second only in the UK to the BBC, and viewing is moving more and more to the big screen. UK viewers watched 16 minutes a day of YouTube on TV sets. 16 to 34-year-olds watch 18 minutes, and over 55s doubled their YouTube on TV viewing, with 42% of their YouTube time happening on the living room screen. Then, in the US, YouTube became the first streaming platform ever to take more than 10% of total TV viewing. It's currently around 13%. No SVOD has ever hit that level. At the same time, FAST platforms, Roku, Tubi, Pluto, Samsung TV Plus had their biggest years yet. Roku hit 2.8% of all TV viewing in the US. Tubi hit 2.2% in the US, but the big twist was FAST platforms starting launching creator-led TV channels, and SVOD starting commissioning content from creators. On the Drop, we covered Samsung TV Plus launching full 24/7 channels for Darman and Mark Rober. Jellysmack launched creator-led fast channels on Roku, and Roku is launching 40 new fast channels alone by the end of 2025. So creator content isn't adjacent to TV anymore. It's becoming established as a key part of the ad-supported TV ecosystem. Number 5, brands are now broadcasters. All right, the next big shift in 2025 was brands stopped becoming advertisers and started becoming broadcasters. Now, it probably started much earlier than that, but let's talk about Foot Asylum in particular. We've reported on them all year in the Drop. Foot Asylum is operating like a youth entertainment network. We've covered the new dating format Tick or It with Harry Pinero, produced by Cowshed Collective, dropping on a channel with nearly 3 million subscribers. We've covered Specs Revenge, a Foot Asylum commissioned entertainment special around the Sidemen charity football match at Wembley. And they won the Brand Channel of the Year award at the TellyCast Digital Video Awards, of course. That's a retailer beating media companies at their own game. Then, of course, we've got Boohoo Man, our story on the heist and Are You Even Real highlighted real entertainment series being produced as part of a larger slate of content on their YouTube channel. This is a brand building formats and franchises, not campaigns. And brands with smaller budgets are starting to test and collaborate together across non-competing categories to get into the game. And then there's a host of other brands, major brands like Starbucks, creating their own studios, becoming lifestyle and documentary businesses. The brands aren't buying around the shows anymore, they're making the shows. And finally, AI becoming plumbing, not posturing. So let's finish with AI. 2025 wasn't the year AI replaced the industry, it was the year AI became invisible, and that's exactly why it mattered. AI became infrastructure, the quiet, boring, everyday plumbing behind the production economy. Development teams used it to visualize pitches overnight. Editors used it to automate and become a key part of the editing process. Social teams used it to test thumbnails, titles, using it for localization, versioning, rights tracking, and analytics. It didn't just replace jobs, it replaced tasks and unlocked speed. Companies that treated AI as a novelty didn't move. Companies that treated AI as a workflow have moved faster. 2026 will widen that gap dramatically. AI won't replace people totally, but people using AI will replace people who aren't. So, how about 2026? Well, it looks like 2026 isn't going to be defined by a new platform, new format, or sudden technological breakthrough. It's going to be defined by a change of intent. For the last few years, digital-first production has been about speed, more content, more platforms, more output, be everywhere, more noise. What we're seeing now is a decisive shift away from that. 2026 is the year digital-first stops chasing momentum and starts building value. From publishing content to building IP. The biggest shift I see in 2026 is the move from publishing videos to building intellectual property. An upload is no longer a unit of value. A format is, a world is, a relationship with an audience is. One-off videos, even successful ones, don't build businesses. Returning formats do. Ideas that can sustain seasons, spin-offs, partnerships, and extensions do. The producers who will win in 2026 won't be the ones who publish the most. They'll be the ones who design ideas that compound over time. Engagement beating reach. For years, reach and subscribers was the metric that everyone chased. 2026, that obsession finally starts to break. Platforms are now rewarding behavior that signals intent. Watch time, return visits, saves, shares, comment depth, community behavior. Reach without connection is becoming worthless. What matters now is whether people come back, whether they care, whether they follow you across formats and platforms because they trust your voice. This is the shift from a creator economy to an audience economy. Loyalty beats scale. Another trend we're going to see, I think, is YouTube. It's not social anymore, it is TV. We mentioned that earlier. One of the most important changes is already underway is how YouTube is being used. It's no longer behaving like a social platform, it's becoming the default free TV layer of the internet. Living room viewing is rising fast. Long-form watch time on connected TVs is growing. Series, appointment viewing and 30 to 60-minute formats are being actively encouraged. The implication is massive. Digital-first producers are now competing directly with broadcasters and streamers, and they're doing it without any gatekeepers. In 2026, YouTube isn't feeding television, it is television. Brands stop interrupting and start investing in 2026. Another continued shift is how brands show up. The old model of interruption advertising is broken. Audiences avoid it. Platforms deprioritize it. Brands know it doesn't work like it used to. In 2026, more of the smart money moves into brand-funded entertainment. Brands underwriting IP, co-creating formats, investing in ideas people actively choose to watch. This isn't branded content as TV once understood it, it's brands acting as entertainment partners. Production companies that understand audiences, not just production, will be treated as collaborators, not suppliers. Social will become the R&D engine. Well, it probably already is, but social platforms are no longer just distribution. They're the industry's R&D lab. Formats are being tested in public, refined in real time, and scaled once they prove they work. Development no longer happens behind closed doors. This flips the traditional pipeline on its head. Ideas don't move neatly from broadcast to digital, they flow both ways. The producers who succeed in 2026 will treat publishing as an ongoing development process, not a release moment. Relevance beats recency. Another quiet but important shift is how content ages. Platforms don't care when something was made, they care how it performs. Smart reuse of archive, timely re-edits and reframing content around cultural moments are increasingly outperforming brand new uploads. This isn't about reposting for the sake of it, it's about understanding relevance, timing and audience mood. Newness in 2026 isn't about recency necessarily, it's about resonance. AI scales output, humans create value. AI is everywhere in the conversation, but it's not the headline. In 2026, AI becomes even more central to the infrastructure. It's speeding things up. It unlocks archives. It supports iteration. It reduces friction. But it doesn't replace the human core. If anything, low-quality AI output is making personality, authenticity, and voice more valuable, not less. Audiences can tell the difference. AI helps you make more. Humans help you matter. Talent, personality, and trust. We're fully in the age of parasocial relationships. Audiences follow people, not logos. They invest in voices, perspectives, and personalities they feel connected to. That doesn't mean polish. In fact, it means quite the opposite. Looser, more authentic, more human content builds trust faster than overproduced output. For producers, their role is shifting. It's less about managing shows and more about building worlds with talent at the centre. From commissioning to collaboration. The old buyer-supplier relationship between broadcasters and digital studios is breaking down. The future is shared risk, shared data, shared IP, and the collaboration at the idea stage, not the delivery stage. Broadcasters bring scale, sales, and rights expertise. Digital studios bring speed, cultural fluency, and audience insight. The smartest deals in 2026 will be partnerships, not transactions. So, if I had to boil all of this down to one piece of advice, it's this. Stop chasing the algorithm, start understanding your audience. Build returning formats, not isolated videos. Spend wisely, test publicly, learn fast. 2026 isn't about doing more, it's about doing the right things deliberately. So, that's our take on 2025 and some predictions for next year. I hope you enjoyed the show. I want to say thanks for listening to the show this year, for reading the drop online and in print and coming to our events, the Digital Content Forum, the Digital Video Awards, and How to Make Money in Digital, if you had the chance to. All 3 events are returning in 2026, plus our TellyCast Digital Bootcamp training courses and 1 or 2 other initiatives in the digital first space designed to help you make sense of the new production economy. Thanks also to our production partners, Spirit Studios, who produce the show for us. We'll be back in January with a new look in the studio and more great guests. Until then, have a great Christmas and New Year, and above all, stay safe. We'll see you in 2026.